Good morning, and this is your crypto day morning. Today's date, that comes in February the 22nd, 2019. It's a Friday. My name is Derek. All bets trades and of the like within each his own risk reward. We're looking at several Fibonacci level numbers, and we look at the entire run of them. They are represented from this high to this low. The one below it represents a shorter term, intermediate term Fibonacci downside level. Therefore, working our way down from the top, this is a 61.8% near 10,000. 38.2% located at previous major support level, about 63.5. Below 38.2, that's a 23.6, and at 48.5. Below that is the 15.4%, I think it is. And then the two ones below that, very short-term levels. And we're looking at it again from the 3,100 and change lows and the $20,000 highs. What I do, I take high divided by low, and that would be about 6 and change. Around 6 when you take 20,000 and divide it by 31. And then I put it to the root of all the numbers, 0.618, 0.382. And to get the numbers, 61.8% multiply 61.8% is 38.2. And if you take that and multiply 61.8%, you'll get 23.6, so on and so forth. Okay, throwing that part aside, all the mathematical mumbo jumbo, going back to technical analyses, price action obviously after resisting this fib level, correcting within the 18, breaking resistance, and having a very good gain. But it hasn't made it to this target, not even close. But it's not even selling off. This play still seems to be live as we are the 5th day within it. The pause candles, if you're going to have a move up and you go sideways, which means you go down a little bit, you make a lower high and maybe do that a couple times, that's strong. Well, no, this one made a higher, barely went down, and it has really congested and stayed sideways. We can see some resistance in here. Most of these lows do seem to be higher, but again, it looks very probable that this thing is going to make a test, most likely pierce above, maybe hit it exactly, unless more rarely pierce below compared to that pierce above. Piercing below would be going to like 40.68. Piercing above is these moves in here. When we look at the short term, we can see definite reason why this is further, that this is probably going to do so today, tomorrow, the next day, but given I'm not going to put anything to it because it's a Friday. 4-hour time frame, what we can see here is we had the on the breakout, everything stayed above the 18 and it was supporting the highs. This 23-hour period timestamp getting above, making a new high, but it immediately had a fast sell-off down to this 18 lows and previous support. But it didn't go down any further. It held it for a while, even had another support test 3 periods ago. But then the previous period from now, it made it to the 18 average of highs, and now with a minute and 40 hour and 46 minutes rather in, or past the half point, it has made a statement in getting above it. So a lot of positive signs looking at it via the 4-hour. On the single hour time frame, we can just see in here, nice little breakout above, and it had this fast little selling, but it was immediately lifted off higher. And I like in here how it's just transpired and now staying and holding above in this little area. Looks to me as if it is ready for a high probable chance of a breakout, compared to a leg higher compared to a leg lower. Moving on next to AID coin. It's I find its movement really interesting, especially I'm playing it where I'm getting out of is quite a few coins now, playing a lot more aggressively. So therefore there's going to be a lot, there'll be a few other coins added and a lot less taken away from the analysis points here and there. But mainly, like we see the start of it, Bitcoin, Litecoin, those are going to be a lot of the focuses. Theta, all this main stuff I've been talking about. But what I've done in here is what I planned on yesterday. I didn't like the chance of resistance here. And breaking out, I felt that this thing is probably going to go to 2,000. And normally when I trade, if I buy something, say about 1,000, I'll look to make maybe a 15 to 25% move on it. So buy at 1,000 and sell between 11.50 and 12.50. sell what I need for it to be valued at such, and then probably put a buy order back in here and just keep doing that. Well, with this, I was going a little more aggressive, and here I realized I got near this top, 1300 and change, high change. The high was exactly 14. I found reason, it was mainly based on where the big sell order was, and big sell order is around 1400, let's go below it. And then I'm looking at this, well, that was a 40% push because I bought it around 1,000 the last time. Or I sold at 1,000 rather, because I would have bought down to here, sold at 1,000, and then wait to buy, which I mean this move here wasn't a buyback. So I would have sold up here, then sold at 14, bought back again north of 1,000. And I was thinking, okay, why don't I just sell at 1,900 and sell like a little more than half of what I got, like 55% on a 2x move. But then I changed my thinking. What I did is I bought a little bit more at about 1120, increased my stakes of such. Thus now I do have a sell order below the 1400, and I have another one below the 2000. I got 2 sell orders ready to go. So now I own via Bitcoin twice as much as what I did every time I had a buy and sell order filled beforehand. Moving on to Litecoin against the US fiat, and at 49 and 1/5, staying above this 18 average amongst its 4-hour time frame. It managed to hold and stay, I mean, spectacularly above this previous level of resistance. I got like 3 different line areas. One was this high in here at 47, which had supported that area. And then we have this general high area here, which is this high, and even this high, which would be around 44, and then even just deep into this really 43.5, and like we'll say between 43.5 and 47. But it only went down to here, barely had a higher high on this, but it still had one, correcting within the 18 average of lows. And I'm not putting anything in that's weakness amongst the 18 lows when you've had the support correct here, and it's doing so with a nice higher low, but it still has to get above the sideways 18, and that's at 46.7 or 49.7 rather. So a lot of it will, I think, come to that psychological 50 number. If it can hold and stay above 50, I was going to say more for blah blah hours, but I don't know how many hours yet until I look at this, and it's all whatever when I say that. But this is that level of key support in here that it broke below. So if it did have that move, but if it fell like it did, if it's able to fall, not break down below its established support, it's already established resistance here. If it's able to do so, break above and get here, well, if it can hold and stay above 50 for more than 6 to 7 hours, 6 or 7 periods even, then it's got an amazing setup for price action to go higher. And if Bitcoin obviously goes up, I mean, Litecoin's going to. It's like gold and silver. If one of them goes up, or if say gold goes up rather, being the top king of the metals, then silver's going to go up, and vice versa going down, more times than not. Alright, let's talk about a coin that I probably haven't talked about before on here. If I have, it would have been a long time ago, and I obviously don't remember, but Namecoin. It's on Poloniex. It's probably not a good coin, although trading-wise it might be. Within the weekly chart, it had this interesting move, and when you look at this on the daily, you're going to be like, it's going to be interesting, but I'm going to go weekly, monthly, then to daily. And it's been in this downtrend, had this breakout attempt, resistance is established, and it has already twice came back to the band. Why twice? Well, in this period here, it was already establishing resistance for, that statement was made December 3rd, so it's okay. So on this period here, like we'll say on December 10th period, resistance was established at 151. Then the next period was established at 172. Then the next period was established at 197. And then this period went back down to the 18. So there's a comeback. Now it needs to break established resistance. And I mean, technically it did, but it didn't. It's matching it. And now pulling back again. So this is your second test amongst the 18 since that resistance has been established. That's a little bit of a concern, but it's really not, because it didn't have much of a correction in here. And it's definitely at the play of breaking over 2028 that this thing could easily have a 2x move. It's like whatever. I mean, that's your next leg higher breaking here, probably somewhere around here. 65% being conservative of a gain from breakout. Just because it's at the 18 doesn't mean it's going to be supported. In fact, every single time these markets have 18 tests, not so great. So let's take a look at this on the monthly chart, and it's just straight down, and it's been going down since 2014. So here's some good and bad things that I look at the chart. I'm going to start with the bad. I mean straight down, that's it. But looking at that even more further, I mean it's against Bitcoin, so it's not against the dollar. And as a trader, if things are going to go long term down, it can still be profitable, and that's where the good part will come in. But before that, it had its 2017 rally, which was tremendous. The fact that I didn't get above previous high in here, that I'm not going to discount that as a poor situation. But the next two things I do, that is its correction, the summer and fall correction of 2017. Because when cryptos all went up in 2017 collectively, within a short-term, mid-term, intermediate-term analysis, they all did this in July, August, September, and all that kind of stuff. But it didn't hold and stay above like around the 40-ish or so number, like a lot of them did. Or a lot of I will say a lot of the more profitable ones. And then you have this little move that comes back down before the 2017 rally. And it had one, but it was significantly lower high, and it's already resisting that area. So it's doing a lot weaker than what a lot of the other altcoins are doing. Now the positive on it. Look at this, and this is way back when, so whatever for, but the volatility hasn't had major changes. This month had a low of 80,000 and a high of 480. That's a 6x move when you divide the high and the low in just 1 month. Well, that's the volatility you want to trade. Then the 2017 rally broke out. We could see the low was 20,000 Satoshi. This high, 200,000 Satoshi, a 10x move. The 2017 end of the year rally, well, bottomed out around the 164 handle. It goes up to the 560 or so. That's about a 3.5x gain. So those are the good parts, that you can get these kinds of moves that can be tradable. On the daily chart, this is what I found really interesting on just how it was moving like this, how it's been curving up and then back down again. This lately, it's how it's resisting and falling from the 18 lows in the grinding level, and it did so on the way up. And then you had these amazing volatile moves. So as a trader on the buy low, sell high, if in something like this, that meant obviously before this accumulation goes up, and well, even if you sold, say, up in here at this top around 150, would you buy this low in here at 137? Probably not. But if you sold up here at 190 or even at 178 and it goes to 134, there should be a buyback in here, which means you can sell again up here. Maybe buy this if you're selling at, say, 196, buying at 165. Because it could have been common where you got 2 or 3 buy orders here, maybe just 1 here. So say you maybe you sold up here, you bought at like 167, then you bought at 143, then it goes back up, so you sell at 174, then you sold maybe 199 or whatever, and then it comes back and you buy 165 or what you have you, and then you sell again up here, and then maybe you bought 165 here, and you haven't done anything since. Okay. Now, as far as where this is going to be going, 140 is a Fibonacci level. It's kind of already hit it, and there might be even key support there. I really need to see. I think 11 is the key number. And do I still have my Fibonacci from yesterday? This is the last one I did. And 8,000 and 20,000, no. Oh, no. Yes. Yes, that's exactly it. Okay. I thought so. I was like... So we have Fibonacci in at the 142 handle and the 114, which is piercing down to 110. We haven't had that 140 test, though. So I've decided I'm going to put a small buy order in here at the 140. I already have done that, and then if it goes down again, I'll put another one in at the 110. One of the reasons why is because, as I've been talking about with the hardware wallets in the last couple of videos, it's available on the Trezor for me, and that's just the main thing right there. Stakes I'd play it on it compared to the other ones that I'm in and adding up to, less than Vertcoin, less than DGB. In fact, it'd be as much as AidCoin now, is what my buy order would be. And the transaction fees on Bittrex is under 1, like 0.01 or something. So it's going to be like so cheap. Because what I was doing and noticing, at least first on Poloniex, because I got into another coin which I think is a no-brainer, and I don't know why I wasn't in it before, and it's just a good time to get in it now. That's Dogecoin. But before we do that, I'll show the chart there, but I don't need to show the chart to talk about it, and I still want to talk about stuff on NMC. But on Dogecoin, it was like 5 or 100 Dojis as a transfer fee on Poloniex. That's kind of expensive. It's not bad, but it's still kind of expensive. Where on other sites, I can get away with like 2, like Bittrex. So I'm going to probably trade it on Bittrex, and then I can move it in and out of a hardware wallet very easy. But this one is extremely cheap, and it's only traded on Poloniex. It can get delisted at any time. This can go straight down, and just there's always the risks in playing, especially with coins like this that probably aren't the greatest. But you never know with them, and you've seen when all markets rally. This one had its moves back in 2017 and at the end of that year as well. So if they all go up together again, this one probably will follow suit. But what I want to show you are just some of the previous days in here, so you can get an idea. We can get some of this, like for example this day, you want to see what the high and low is, although it's best way to do it would be going like that. So a high of, like, say, that's not the right day, 15 handle, and a low of 105. A lot of trading could be done on days like that. How about this day here? We have a high of 175 and a low of 110. Oh, interesting. How about what was going back in here? Was this anything okay? I mean, this high was at 250, the low was at 208 or 210. Well, the differential is over 40 basis points, so that's like 15%, but nothing overly fantastic. And then from the 2018 highs, like a lot of coins, it was just buy, and say if you bought at this lower end at, say, 265 handle, well, the highest it got up to was 308. And it took several days to get there. So you might not even be able to sell there, especially if, say, you bought at, like, say, 276 and your buy order below that was 250. Oh, buy at 276, okay, let's sell it like 318 or something, whatever. But you know what, maybe you did get the sell. When you're in a downtrend like this, those little few sells you get only help a little bit. It still hurts as far as your bankroll when you go from point here to point there. But in saying such, when you're in the market in here, you get your sells, you get your buybacks, and you're at 20,069, and you remember in here when it was breaking out at 26, and you're in better shape because of all your trades going up and down. And then even just looking at this from beforehand, when you have a situation where you're able to go up to 270, back down to 160, over so many days, intraday, this day in here on December the 8th, you have a high of 240 and a low of below 160. That's greater than 50% volatility. So the volatility can come back at any time. Just a day like this, August of 2017, high of 608, a low of 371. So you get the point. Let's move on to Dogecoin. And I got in at 52, which is what the current price is now. And I got a line at 59 because that's where my sell order is. 7-point differential, we're looking at a little over 10%. Like to go more. I really don't want to sell at 57, previous area. And I thought about going up to 61, but I'm going to be suffice with that. My buy order, I don't got it lined in here, but it's in the mid 40s, 44 area. And I don't do anything until either one of them hits. If the sell order hits, then I'm going to have to take some Doji from my hardware wallet. not many, and then move them to put for sale. Because I only got 2 sell orders in, one at 59, and I got another one probably somewhere up here in the 70s. And then I'll have 2 more sell orders come in. Maybe one at about 6. If 59 hits, maybe put a sell order around maybe 68. Another one in at about maybe 85, 88. And then put a new buy order in. Probably if I sell at 59, I'd look to buy back at 51. And then have with it. And if a buy order comes in, then I'll move what I need to the hardware wallet and adjust the sell orders, because, well, the obvious, when I sell I'll have less dojis, and when I buy I'll have more. And I only want to have what I need within the sell orders, and then I can keep the rest stored in the hardware wallet. And the fees, well, they're not that bad again when I'm paying 2 dojis on that of Bittrex. Now the transfers of Bitcoin I don't like. I'm really not a fan of it. Makes it unfun to do this, because across the board it seems that it's 50,000 Satoshi to transfer Bitcoin off the exchange, which is quite expensive. When we take a look at it, just quickly on a calculator, 50,000 is 5 digits, so I do 3 zeros after the decimal, and I multiply it by the current price, and Bitcoin's around 3,900. That's about $2. Really don't want to do that, especially when you're doing it over and over and over and over and over again. For exchanges, I found a way around that more times than not, because I'm like, okay, this exchange needs Bitcoin, okay, and I'm not sending from my hardware wallet where Bitcoin transfers are cheap. I'm sending from an exchange, so maybe from one exchange to another. Now what will happen is I'll look at it and see, oh, 50,000, $2. I got an idea. Why don't I just buy some Litecoin and spend 0.001 Litecoin on my transfer fee, and then sell the Litecoin on the other exchange? And more times than not, that pretty much works every time. Sometimes I'll get pretty decent gains, and the odd time it might cost me over 50,000 Satoshi based on the commissions to pay for Litecoin and the fact that I may not get the best price, and sometimes pay more and basically lose on a day trade. But overall, over the last maybe 15, and it's been at least that many times, but over the last 10, 15 times that I've done that, I've actually profited on transferring back and forth. But if I want to put Bitcoin into the hardware wallet, there's no other way I can do it but spend the 50,000 Satoshi. So I almost got to accumulate enough coins so that I can laugh it off a little bit better, spending $2. And when the stakes go higher, Bitcoin prices go higher, so Bitcoin prices go up, say, 5 times, if they keep it at 50,000 Satoshi, it would be a $10 transfer. And back at the 2017 highs, at the end of 2017, at the start of 2018, it was phenomenally high. Exchanges were going 100,000 Satoshi, and the price was higher. It was like 60, 70,000 Satoshi just from a hardware wallet. It was crazy at that time. So back then, if you were paying 70,000 Satoshi to 3, and the price was, say, 17,700, $12.39. It was even higher than that, I think, but just crazy transfers. Okay, let's look more at this chart on Doji. On the weekly chart, the up and down choppy action is really what I'm talking about. So where's resistance, where's support? Well, the most highest it got to was this 190. But 100 is the upper end of it, and it has done very well in piercing above. Oh, not really. Here it did. 100 is resistance. So what do you got for support levels? Well, this one here was 37. 37 coincides with post 2018. It pierced below the end of the 2015, start of 2016. And then 2016 was more like 30. And therefore, there is no one clear number, because we got up and actually we got this low here, so maybe we can. And 100 even further. You can see all of these hits. But we have this support at 25 on 2014. We have it again here. Piercing above in this point here. Hitting it. Piercing below it. Again, piercing below it. Piercing above it here. So if you draw trend lines, you're going down, and now it's trying to go up. So you can upgrade, downgrade these levels. You can almost say that it's upgraded. And I'm just going to go at 2 now, meaning 25 to 36, that range there. Of course, it's pierced down below 18 before. So as far as is price cheap, is it expensive? Well, there's a double difference up to the 100 already as it stands. A 2x move. And we also have this area here, a little bit to go. It's making higher lows, so it's not too shabby, but you got to expect if you're going to get into something like this, that it can most certainly have a decent move lower still, because of the fact that, well, it's well above 35. But you also can't expect that this is always just going to stay in this range. So this thing does have the full-fledged potential to go way lower or way higher. First, we'll talk about way higher. You've had resistance at 100. We've been up to this 200 before, and we originally tested in the 200s, and it could even go higher than that. After all, we've seen DGB do it, but is this just a crap coin? No chance, maybe. But if it breaks below this here, this pretty much goes to nothing. So make sure, if you're investing in something like this, that if it does something like that, well, the risk you are doing suffices for the reward you're getting and how that works out to your overall net portfolio. Thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.